everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. To get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, my mic was not turned on. Hopefully it is working. Sometimes it bugs out. Let me check if it's picking up my voice. It is. Okay. How's everyone doing? Welcome back to your boy TraderPrad. I'm just playing with more AI tools over here. You know, can't take a break from AI at the moment. And today was a wild day if you are a developer or an AI enthusiast. Just a wild day in general. You know, you got gifted open source models from OpenAI. So that's ChatGPT, OpenAI. Then you have more news coming out from Google DeepMind about this crazy video a generation tool which is called Genie. Grok Imagine has been blowing up. It's just a wild time for you know, humanity in general. I mean, every day I'm having to play with a new tool. I'm having to learn something crazy, learn something that I didn't know before, and you know, all of this at the end of the day can be used to help you trade better. That's the main goal behind me going out and playing with all of these tools. It's not so you know, I get to talk to you three viewers on YouTube. No, it's more so I could really learn how to play with these and learn how to advantage myself, give myself a little you know, big boost in trading and in all things that I want to do. And if you're not doing it, boy oh boy, I feel like a lot of people are going to be falling behind. If you're not playing with AI, your job is going to get replaced by somebody who was playing with AI. And it's just a wild time, man. I really encourage you guys to create a Twitter account and follow some you know, some of these AI companies and their the big creators who tweet about it, like myself and some other big creators out there, because you really need to spend some time to learn all this. You gotta learn how to manage yourself with these tools, with these things they call agents and so on. Anyways, uh, just having some fun with my little AI tools at the end of the day. But we're here to talk about. Let me give me a second. Skip that. Keep all. Uh, we're here to talk about the stock market, so let's head over to the full screen and show you guys my trades on the day and then the watch list, which I actually haven't even made yet. So we're gonna have to make a watch list together and all other fun stuff. Let me quickly load in. Did I even save my charts today? Oh, lovely. I didn't save my charts today. Oh man, I'm so completely lost in this AI sauce that I forgot to save my charts today. However, I guess the only thing we need to show you guys is one chart on the day. That's my HIMS trade. I've had a monster trade on HIMS today. Started off the day with actually losing a little bit on Palantir. Palantir was very whippy. It was going all over the place. Let me bring in the charts. Show you guys where Palantir was today after reporting earnings. I mean, very, very strong. It first looked like a failed breakout of the pre-market high, trapped a bunch of the bulls on the pre-market high, failed break. Let me go to the 1-minute chart instead to show you guys exactly how it played out. Or let's go to the 10-second chart instead. Palantir 10-second chart, show you guys how insane the opening drive was on this name today. Here you go. This is a 10-second chart and the stock went multiple dollars in each candle. That candle right there from 170 to 173.40 in 10 seconds. Okay, so lots of whips back and forth. If you took the simple strategy such as a pre-market high breakout, you would have been in the money and then instantly out of the money, watching the stock go down $3 against you, and you're now worried that, hey, is the stock going to break 170 to the downside, and you get trapped. However, 170 doesn't break, it holds, it actually pushes right back to the upside, creates a new high, traps more bulls, traps more longs, and then pushes right back down to 170. As I told you yesterday, though, that 170 is going to be the key level. If the stock is able to find buying above 170, I'm not sure you're going to see a complete reversal on it, and that's exactly how it played out. No matter how weak the market was, the 10 o'clock number came out and actually put some bearish sentiment across the board. Still, Palantir managed to stay above 170 for most part of the day. How long is this of the day? It spent about half an hour of the day below 170, trapping some shorts, and eventually those shorts got proved wrong with the move right back to the upside. So monster move across the board, especially in the opening drive. So took some quick losses off of Palantir, tried to take a long, I got beaten up, tried to take a short, I got beaten up, and I said, you know what, this stock is very, very dirty. Let's just stay away from it for now, and then we can come back to it later on in the day. Keeping an eye on it at the same time on HIMS. HIMS was going absolutely bonkers. They also reported earnings, if I remember correctly. They did. The reported earnings after hours, flushing out, going to the downside a little bit lower in pre-market, but regaining some of those levels, and the short squeeze, you could call it, or maybe, you know, the shorts covering along with a little bit of a short squeezing coming into play, where the opening range breakout and just absolutely blasted off the stock to the stratosphere, going into $64. I was expecting $60 to show me some weakness first, so I took some blind shares on the $60 pop. Was very, very light size, so it really didn't matter that I lost on that trade. Let me show you the chart again. So took very, very small size, starter size, Spiegler size. Katarino, if you're watching this stream, a big middle finger to you, because I'm not going to listen to your advice over here. He says, Prad, you gotta wait for the turn. No, I'm taking a starter size on the front side. Doesn't matter if I lose on it. I'm not losing anything significant. However, much later in the day, $64 comes into play, and you can see how the stock really struggles on every push into 64. It's not able to get above 64 at all. So using that to get shares into the pops on the front side, and then really turning this trade into a real trade on the back side, which begins right around this candle area. So let's zoom in and explain to you why the backside really begins over there, and why it's probably not worth taking as much size as I did on the front side in this area. So the front side is still, as the stock is, still in the same trend. It's showing you now buyers are stepping up at a much higher price. In fact, buyers are stepping up above $60, which is kind of crazy. So buyers stepping up at a higher price, but somewhere in here is where the backside starts to open up. And if you want to talk about real true backside, it's actually when the stock breaks down and pushes to the downside. The pop and the reject, which is also what you call it, the second chance scalp, right? You got the breakdown, the pop, and the reject back down, either taking that little second breakdown or this little pop breakdown as your confirmation, and then turning this trade to an A plus trade from what would have been a C in this area, a B in this area, and then in this little confirmation pop and fail, that's where this trade becomes an A plus. This is where you smash the size, risk the high a day, or risk this little peak high, depending on your risk and your size and how much your tiered lots may be. If you have size from here, you still want to put that for the stop up here. But if you added to the trade here, and turned it into an A plus trade, then this is where the stop should be for this size, and you get to now give yourself added exposure, added risk. You get to pyramid into a working trade. You're not adding to a loser, you're adding to a winner. You get to pyramid into a winning trade on that little confirmation, and then just the smooth sailing to the downside. Stock goes to VWAP. Let me pull it back on the other chart. What was it? HIMS. Stock goes to VWAP. Breaks VWAP later on in the day, and just continues selling off. So there you go, straight move to VWAP, bounces off of VWAP, and then goes for the leg number 2 and then leg number 3 later on in the day. Sadly, I am not able to capitalize on that because I'm done trading by this point. I'm done trading HIMS by this point once it pushes VWAP and stops me out on the way back through 59 over here. Had I been watching this name later on, maybe I would have been able to catch the next few legs, which is, I'm very guilty of doing that. I always stop looking at stocks that make me the most money on the day. Instead, I go look for the next hot girl at the bar after the first one kind of gave me what I want from her already. A very bad habit. Leave with the girl you came with. Isn't that what Denzel Washington says? Leave with the person you came with, meaning if you came with God, leave with God. If you came with devil, leave with devil. I'm not sure where he says that or when he says it. Anyways, I have a very horrible habit of turning back around, going back into the party and looking for the next hot girl, and most of the time they reject me afterwards, and I get beat up on those, which is Coinbase. Coinbase is my regret today. Tried to short that stock way too many times and gave back some money on the day. Thank you, Coinbase, for trapping me with that nonsense. But this just goes to show you how patience really pays off. Opening drive was very volatile on Palantir, so that beat me up, and I wasn't really patient on that side. That beat me up a little bit. Later on, I said, you know what, let's step back, relax, and just watch how stocks are moving, and look for the next best trade as it shows up. And the one that showed up was HIMS, and was an absolutely banger of a trade. Made my money back and actually went into the positive side by quite a bit. Had I kept trading the stock, it would have made a lot more money, and honestly was probably the easiest stock of the day. Not necessarily a true statement. There were other stocks on the day which were a little bit easier to trade. For example, Circle just a straight downside move all day. Fig was a nice trade on the break at 85. If you took that IPO low breakdown, you had a great consolidation here and then a ride to the downside after the IPO break. Even somewhere in this area, the lower day breakdown at 88 pops back into VWAP, rejects VWAP, and then goes into lower day. IPO low here creates a nice little flag at the IPO low and then breaks out for new continuation ride. So Figma didn't pay for shorts on this name. Absolutely stupid to not do that today. So you know, missing out on a lot of money, a lot of potential trades over here. Now the stock in the after hour got absolutely destroyed. Still potentially has a lot more room to the downside. You know, the IPO price range was $33. But when I was watching the stock on the IPO day itself, what was it? Like 65, I think $65 was the price where we saw a lot of buyers come in on the IPO day. So potentially some buyers in the $60-65 area if we do go back down there, worth watching. Ideally, I think the stock shouldn't go under 50, even though the IPO price was what, 35. The market cap right now currently where the stock closed at is at 38 billion, which is more of a fair valued price, because if I remember correctly, Adobe was going to buy Figma out for 40 billion, and if that's the case, then you know the stock trading around $80, $85 would be 40 billion, which would be the accurate price as Adobe was going to buy them out for that said price. We'll see how it plays out at the end of the day. Boy oh boy, let's talk about Coinbase though. Tried to short this one quite a bit today, right around, where is it, this area, and each pop really questioned me. Well, not questioned me, I started questioning the pop every time when I tried to short it. Eventually though, I caught the short into the closing of the day, but you know, this pop had this pop not come into play, and the lower day actually broke somewhere here, I would have had a pretty good day on Coinbase. But no, it just had to be dirty, go back and forth a little bit. MicroStrategy was also a good name to keep an eye on. MicroStrategy sold off a lot more than Coinbase in fact, and much cleaner setup. But hey, you guys remember my hate on Coinbase, and I am very happy watching Coinbase crumble back to the downside over here. I mean, when it was over here, I was telling you Coinbase has no right to be here. Absolute dog shit company. And literally, what, couple weeks later, you get the complete reversal, complete downside. I just don't know what to say. I told you so, I guess is the answer that I need to say. But hey, Coinbase, the simple setup for today was look for the stock to give you a breakdown below the 2 days low, and it gave you that perfectly. And today, going into the close, you got the breakdown of $300 area. So any continued weakness around this 300, today's VWAP is 303. It is, tomorrow would be day 4 of the earnings report. There is no real day 4 game plan on the stock or in any stock in general in the day trading basket. So I'm not really, I don't think you want to focus on Coinbase as a day trade tomorrow. There is no day 4 setup. There isn't one. Maybe you can make one, but there isn't one. However, just looking at the technicals, if the stock struggles around today's VWAP, if it struggles around $300 again tomorrow, then I think that opens up some real good downside for us to play with on this name. Where did my watch list go? Let me open up my watch list here real quick. I didn't create one, I know that, but I should have had one open. There you go. Okay. Throw in some stocks. AMD reported today. What other stocks reported today? Let me quickly go here. AMD, SMCI. I got stopped out on my SMCI swing trade today after hours. They flushed to the downside. ANET making a new high, or I think a new high. A-Lab for sure making a new high. Open Door, Snapchat, Lucid, Upstart, Rivian. That's a pretty good basket of stocks to keep an eye on. Caterpillar looked pretty good today. I'm not sure if that pulled back. Lemonade looked good today. Palantir and Hims for sure making the watch list for day 2 trade. Hims, Palantir. We'll throw ON just to be safe because I might want to short that name. And then some names that are reporting tomorrow: Uber, Shopify, Oscar, Novo Nordisk, Disney. Oh, okay, Six Flags. Dave has been on a run, a generational run. Like, I don't even know what Dave does, but Dave's chart, if you guys saw Dave's chart on the daily, you know, you'd be crying that you didn't invest in this stock. Like, what does the stock do? This was at $6 and now it's at $2.50. Almost identical reversal on stock price and valuation as Carvana, man. Insane. Just what does Dave do? Please educate me on what they do. And they report tomorrow, so probably worth keeping an eye on them. GERN absolutely getting smoked, and I think that's a pretty good enough of a watch list to have for tomorrow. Obviously, you can throw in your large cap stocks: Nvidia, Tesla, Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft. We're gonna throw in. Did I miss one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where's the 7th one? Nvidia, Tesla, Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Meta. Meta is the one I'm forgetting. Coinbase, MSTR, IBIT, RIOT, MARA, and do we want to have a list of stocks for the swing basket? Why not? What am I looking at? DraftKings. RIS, I think, is a name that I heard. Rubric, Las Vegas Sands also. I'm not really, you know, interested in Las Vegas Sands, I'll be honest with you, but we'll just throw that in there. FLUT is something to keep an eye out for. Look, football season is right around the corner, and DraftKings looks really good if you ask me. ANET, A-Lab, you know, what a heartbreaking story over there on those names, because I was invested in A-Lab and I got out right before the big move up, and now it's at 150. I was long like 90 something. Very heartbreaking on A-Lab over there. Trying to remember what other stocks are in my, give me a second, maybe if I can go to my chat here. My friends are funny people. Okay, where's my notes? There they are. Bull. Okay, wow. Bull is actually looking bad, but let's talk about it. Bull, Coupang, CCL, TOST. Hood is actually, surprisingly enough, making a move back up, so worth keeping an eye on to maybe open shares again. PL. Amazon, SMCI pulled back, and that's a little bit of a also hard break over there. Anything else in my watch list? DoorDash. If I remember correctly, DoorDash already made a new high, so missing the train over there. Oh, UNH. I bought some UNH shares today after hours, so that's something to keep an eye on. Okay. That will be enough for the watch list curation. So why don't we dive in and start using our AI tools and all other awesome tools that we have at our disposal to help us disseminate the info. ER stream scan for AMD. AMD, where's the picture? Oh no, I don't need the picture. I can just actually I can go to the watch list, I guess. AMD, SMCI, ANET, A-Lab, Open, Snapchat, Lucid, Upstart, and Rivian. So while that bad boy does the work for us, quickly gonna announce a new affiliate partnership coming in soon for your boy, and that is an actual brokerage. They're getting an actual brokerage coming in and stepping up to sponsor the show here. Sadly, not actual money. No one wants to give me actual money to sponsor shit, but they are going to be giving me an affiliate sponsorship, which is pretty cool if you ask me. It's an American broker, and a broker that's curated mostly for the day trading side. If you're a day trader who trades small cap stocks, if you're a day trader who trades stocks that are hard to borrow, this company is actually very good with those hard to borrow stocks and hard to borrow fees in general, and that is Cobra Trading. Very soon we'll get the link and information for you guys in there, so be on watch for that. If you don't have a crypto account yet, sorry, not crypto, if you don't have a brokerage to trade with and you are looking to trade with the brokerage in America, Cobra Trading, soon we'll have a link for you guys, and then we'll go from there. So shout out to, you know, a brand new partnership with your boy and Cobra Trading. All right, we have our detailed, well, not really detailed, but our quick little summary per stock for their earnings basket. So if I zoom down, I'll see like a table. There you go. This is the table that I wanted yesterday, but they didn't give me this table yesterday. They're giving it to me today, which is exactly what I wanted. AMD, 32% growth year over year, quarter over quarter 3%. Adjusted EPS reports, EPS estimates, they kind of didn't really beat, but in line, I guess. EPS estimate. Okay. Sentiment score, earnings score, 7 out of 10. Guidance upbeat, beat revenue versus estimate. EPS estimate is that. So miss weak SMCI. However, they grew year over year by 19%, but they missed on the revenue versus estimate. Guidance, they are guiding weak, and that's not good at all. And social sentiment and earnings score, AI is giving that pretty low scores, and you can see the stock plummeting to the downside, making sense so that the score adds up. ANET growth across the board. They beat on the revenue estimates, also beat on the EPS estimates. Strong guidance. Subscriber growth is the key metric. So growth in subscriber growth and social sentiment and earnings score high, pretty high. The closer to 10, the better. And the fact that this is 9 is basically saying it's very bullish. A-Lab, 150% growth year over year. Oh my god, I was long this name from $95. No! Oh, what a heartbreak. Quarter over quarter 20%, beat EPS, beat revenue, strong guidance. Not sure what the hell that is. 9 over 10 and 9 over 10. As you can see, that is the strongest sentiment score on the board. If there is a stock that you want to be bullish for tomorrow, that's probably A-Lab, okay? So keep an eye out for that name. Open Door making a nice move back to the south side. Very, very irrelevant earnings report. And the social sentiment score, the lowest of all the stocks that we're tracking. The lowest sentiment score. Not surprised by that. Snapchat, almost, you know, irrelevant as Open Door if you ask me. And sentiment score reflecting that too. Lucid Motors recently made a pop-up, and remember how a lot of people were asking me if it's time to start investing in Lucid, is it time to start buying in Lucid? And I said, once a dog, always a dog. It takes a lot for a dog to become a lion. Sometimes you get a Carvana story, you get a American Eagle story, or not American Eagle, although you could say American Eagle right now because of the whole Sydney Sweeney stuff. Not American Eagle, what am I thinking? Abercrombie and Finch story, where they completely reverse and become, great again. But I'm not sure Lucid's anywhere close to doing that. So delivery numbers struggling, guidance being trimmed, they're missing revenue. They are growing year to year and quarter to quarter, but the sentiment scores across the board are negative, not looking good. In fact, lower than Snapchat on the sentiment score. Sad, sad, sad. UPST, 110% growth. Insane. beating EPS, beating revenue, strong guidance. Key metrics are the loans. I'm guessing something to do with going up or going down. It's pretty cool explanation over there, right, guys? Social sentiment and the earnings score is pretty good. I like to see that. And Rivian, pretty in line / weak earnings overall. So the main stocks really I think I care about are let's, you know, the ones that are in the technology basket, let's be real, but the ones that make a move after hours. So since we have a lot of stocks over here, quickly let's scan through some of these stocks, see which one actually moved after hours. AMD report wasn't really that negative at all, but still pushed to the downside. If I remember correctly, a lot of these stocks pushed to the downside today when I was first scanning for them. So SMCI downside, Rivian down, Open Door down, Snapchat down, Lucid down. I think the only two stocks that didn't go down are ANET and ALAB. Upstart actually reversed, not bad. ANET making a nice high and ALAB making a complete new all-time high. I have to check if ANET made a new all-time high, but ALAB, I mean, what, 160, 150? It was at 135 today, chat. 135. And this is where I was long in this area. No, sorry, this area. And I got stopped out over here. Why didn't I just punch back, man? Why didn't I just punch back? So sad. Okay. Let's take a quick look at the people in the chat. What's everyone saying in the chat today? We're through our first 30 minutes on the stream. Usually takes a little while for people to roll in. Hopefully a lot of you guys are now in here by now. TH, a nice meme. Your image goes well with anime. I think, you know, you're not wrong. I understand what you're saying, like my image, the nerdy vibe, the anime lover that I am. I was actually watching Jujutsu Kaisen recently, but the problem is when I'm vibe coding is when I watch anime or TV shows now, and most of the time I'm spending typing or looking at the vibe coder instead of watching the TV show. So I actually end up missing a lot of the detail, a lot of the information from the TV shows that I watch these days, you know, from Netflix or any show that I watch. It's like watching it on the second screen while my third screen is you know, tracking Twitter, while my fourth screen is tracking Discord, and then I'm vibe coding over here in the middle. It's just like losing track of the TV show at the end of the day with all that distraction. I need to sit down and watch the show completely by itself. Hi everyone, Victor's in the house. Ooh, if you haven't seen Victor in a long time in the chat, Victor's in the house. My 20 years all over AI. I've been studying AI as well. Create AI agents. I love to see that. How will the stocks trade? Meta, Lab, Google, A-Lab, sorry, Google, Hood, Uber. We'll dive into that. Just quickly going through the chat over here. Circle is burning investor capital. Coin is the horse I'm riding. This. How did I not, you know, I kind of expected you to say something about coin. I was just waiting for it. As the horse I'm riding in the space. Fig is going towards $30 per share. That's a bold claim. I think it bounces around 50 because Adobe was going to buy them for 40 billion. But 30 would be a pretty sharp decline, at which point I might even buy the share. So I don't think it's going to 30. I think 50 to 60 would be something. It might play around. I bought more coin shares today. Shout out to you, sir. Sorry, Pratt, I'm late. I had a couple hours of swing trades to take care of. No worries. You are not obligated to show up. But if you do, you are obligated to hit the like and hit the subscribe if you haven't already. So do that. I'm going to get Pratt a Coinbase t-shirt when it becomes $1 trillion company. You know what? I'll actually like it. I'll wear it. I'll like it. I'm not gonna be upset for a free merch, free shirt. But you'll see me hating on it nevertheless. Victor, A-Lab is the best performing stock in the past 30 days. Yes, A-Lab is just monstrous. I love A-Lab. I wish I still had it. I don't, sadly. Hood is up 600% on my portfolio. Very surprised by Hood's move. I mean, on the earnings day, gets below 100, actually stops me out of my trade completely by getting below 100. But this is basically a drop and reclaim of the 21-day moving average and the 9-day moving average. So creating a base, drop and reclaim of the 21-day and the 9-day, looking very much like the stock wants to stay above the $100 area. If so, there's more upside on this name incoming. So keeping an eye on it. Obviously market going up would be a little important. We can't just throw out claims like, oh, the stock is gonna go up. But with the way it's behaving at the moment, buyers are looking to buy up the stock near 100. So keeping an eye on Hood nevertheless. That is basically the chat notes. Tesla, Nvidia, Boeing. Ooh, that is a big hot list. Yes, we have a very big list today. Let's go take a look at Boeing. You said Boeing. I'm not sure there's anything over here for the day trade. Maybe for the swing, if it does reclaim 225, Boeing might be worth keeping an eye on. But I'm always worried that you are one plane crash from going all the way back down on Boeing. However, this has been on somewhat of a reversal trajectory right now and has been doing very good. Has been doing pretty damn good on that reversal trajectory. So shout out to Boeing. Nvidia, Tesla already on the watch list, so I don't need to add them. Okay, AMD, not a bad report, but moving back to the downside. So ideally, I'm expecting 160. Are we still above 160? Yes, we are. So 160 would be the key level for me to keep an eye out for. Not expecting the stock to get below 160 tomorrow. If it does get below 160, that's going to be, red flags. It'll raise all kinds of red flags, and we'll see how to trade that name from there on out. SMCI stopped out on this name as it pushes back below the $50 area, but thankfully I've made profits on the run up. So on the 1/3 of my size that I got stopped out, I did lose on that 1/3, but I made money on 2/3. So very profitable trade at the end of the day still. And watching SMCI go back is sad. But 50, again, nice and even dollar price point, similar to AMD. The key level would be 50, but we are in such murky prices over here with so many levels right above, so many levels right below, that it's going to be a little bit of a weird trade. That being said, HIMS today in the same situation ended up being a great trade. So it all depends on the context of what the stock does off the open, where does it go, and what type of opportunities it sets up for us. So keep an eye on SMCI. If it makes a drastic pop like HIMS, potentially could set up for a big short. If it makes a drastic drop unlike HIMS, or maybe like HIMS but in the other direction, potentially setting up for a good long back to VWAP and so on. So just keep an eye out for those basic scalp setups if you're a day trader. If you're a swing trader, I think the earnings report is more than enough of a reason to just stay away from that name. ANET, big move up. Is it a new all-time high on the stock? And it looks like it is. 133.57 was the previous all-time high. We're now playing with 135, 136 area with the earnings VWAP around 130, 150. 128 looks like there's a flat buyer around 128, so somewhere around 128 to earnings VWAP area, expecting buyers to show up on the dips. I'm gonna put 128 to 130 here, and I'm gonna put inflection level, which is the earnings VWAP 130/140/130/150 for me to keep an eye out for. And I actually put it in the wrong chat. Damn it. There we go. A-Lab next. Looking for kind of a similar idea, but given the earnings report, I think you you might not get a dip tomorrow on this name. So looking for a similar idea. If we do get a dip, I would love to get long in these areas on this name for the day trade. But overall, it's just buy all dips tomorrow, unless the stock goes insane. Like if this is opening around 200, then I'm not just looking to go long near 200. I'll wait for a dip, get a nice little dip into VWAP, show me strength above VWAP, and then I'll go long above VWAP, or potentially the stock flips from VWAP to the downside, at which point I'll look short below VWAP. But I want to play around VWAP if the stock is making an insane move off the open that I missed out on. Hopefully I don't miss out on the open, because this is going to be a high priority name for that. OPEN, open door, now going to the downside again. It's back to a dollar area. Not really sure. This is going to be a high priority name for me, but as long as the stock stays below this $182 zone tomorrow on pops, continue to keep looking for the short on this name. But if it is above that low, I don't think there's a short at all. So that's going to be the important key level for open door, which is the 180. What was the earnings low today? Was a little bit lower than 180. It was 170. So 180 to 170 zone on open door, but I'm not sure this is of any real priority to me tomorrow at all. Snapchat. 3 things in life are promised for you: debt, taxes, and Snapchat going down on earnings reports. So here's Snapchat crumbling again back to the downside. But if I remember correctly, the very next day Snapchat goes right back up after earnings report. So it's a very stupid stock. There could be a sympathy trade because of Snapchat, which is metaverse. That's something to keep an eye on. If Meta sold off because of Snapchat, potentially a long over there. But the market has been a little bit weak recently, so you can't say that Meta sold off because of Snapchat, right? So correlation does not equal causation, but sometimes you do get a sympathy move across the board in the same theme, stocks and so on, and it's something that I've seen before. On the daily chart, $8 is the level where we're currently playing with, and that makes sense why the stock is playing with the $8 area in the after hours. Under 8 you have the 7, so basically even dollar prices, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just play around the dollar areas if you want to play on that stock. Lucid, not interesting at all. There's way better stocks tomorrow to keep an eye out for. Upstart would have been nice if it actually broke out of that high, because there would have been better trade opportunities. But actually, if it broke out of the high and then flushed back to the downside. So right now, not really sure what we're gonna get tomorrow. There is a permutation where the stock does. What the hell is wrong with my mouse? There's a permutation where the stock does this tomorrow. There's a permutation where the stock does this tomorrow. And there's a permutation where the stock does this tomorrow. So it is growing year over year. The conference call might have been a little bit more to the bullish side. So you're getting the stock actually pumping back up. And how it behaves in the pre-market will be very, very important. But overall, the fact that it's stuck in these ranges is going to be very, very disheartening. Not exciting at all for a name that's sometimes very, very volatile on earnings reports. This is one of the most fun names to trade on earnings days, but today it does not want to be fun for us at all. Rivian breaking the double bottom and going back to the sound side. As long as it stays below the double bottom, I think you can continue looking short. That's around $12. Where's my marker? Hello? Oh, I'm not not actually placing a marker. I'm throwing dots on my charts. That rhymed. Rivian, $12, $10, $9.50. These are your levels on watch. Not sure I'm gonna be keeping Rivian as a high priority name to keep an eye tomorrow, but the 12, if it stays around 12 and looks weak around 12, I'll think about a short. Caterpillar had a nice green day overall, even though the market was a little bit scary. If we do get the breakout of this high, is that the all-time high? It is. So Caterpillar, if it breaks out the all-time high, worth keeping an eye out for a day 2 setup, and it might just become a high priority name tomorrow. So putting an alert here for the possible day 2 setup. We'll see if the high comes into play. 441.15. As long as buyers come in to defend 441 and buy above 441, we got a game on that stock. Lemonade had a monster push up today on earnings report. We're looking for a day 2 trade, which is basically a pullback into 45 and looking strong above 45, or looking strong above this little consolidation high where the stock already closed above. So either it pulls back to 45, which gives us a move to 49 or a move to 50, or it stays strong above 47 and it launches to the north side. So 47 first area support, and then 45 after, keeping an eye to see if we get a day 2 trade on a hold above 47. If we don't get a hold above 47, then I think 45 will be the next line of defense, at which point you can continue to look for the long. Hims got absolutely smoked after the initial pop up. I think with the candle move today, basically a doji candle on the daily chart, that's the overall idea. The stock might just do nothing tomorrow, have a complete volatility dying off event and trade sideways. It might not be a high priority name tomorrow at all. Palantir, with how dirty it was today, I promise you there's going to be a lot of people itching to trade this name tomorrow. So because of that reason itself, maybe don't even bother looking at Palantir. That's not the best way to think about it, but just something to keep an eye out for. The main key level is still 170. Today's low is 169. So 169, 170 is still the key area. As long as they're buying above it, there could be a trade for us to look for. If they're not buying above it, there's a major trade to look for. ON, very similar to Coinbase setup, basically looking for ON to trade below 47 tomorrow as a day 3 trade. If it trades below 47, then we got a short, especially given how weak the earnings report was and how bullish the strong move into that earnings report was. So back under the 200-day moving average, back under the previous earnings VWAP, and looking very much like a 3-bar breakdown, looking very much like Coinbase. So if it does break that 47 area, I think we're all systems go. Today was also SSR day 2. So tomorrow, no SSR, more opportunities to short the crap out of this name. 47 key level. Here's stocks that report tomorrow. Pre-market, quickly run through these stocks for you guys. Uber, not a bad chart at all. You know, a lot of stocks actually gave back most of their gains in these type of charts. You know, Amazon, SMCI, Uber holding fairly well at its earnings VWAP. Tomorrow we have the next earnings call, so keep an eye out for this bad boy. Potentially a move back to all-time high or a drop right back to the south side. So UBER, Shopify. Where is Spotify before we go to Shopify? Ooh, not bad, not bad. Shopify looking like it's getting ready for a nice flag breakout. So that's a big name to keep an eye out, because I got chopped up over here on the earnings report. So if Shopify reports earnings well tomorrow, I might go long on my swing account because it would be taking out a nice weekly flag, weekly range. So weekly setup. Getting above this 130 area is very bullish for me on Shopify. So keeping an eye on this for the earnings move, and especially if I miss out on the buy in this area because of the earnings move, then I'm just gonna buy it wherever the hell the stock is in pre-market and look for the run up throughout the day tomorrow. Hopefully I get some good prices. So 129.30, I'm just gonna say 129.50 is the first resistance right now, but anything above 130 tomorrow, if we do get a dip buy into 130 after a positive earnings report, very, very bullish move. On a negative earnings report, potentially you're seeing the stock go right back into this range low, at which point, you know, it's not really that high of a priority name for me at all. I think Shopify is going to go higher depending on how it's moving at the moment. But that being said, you know, you could say the same thing about Amazon. You could say the same thing about SMCI, and they both pulled back pretty hard. Oscar, I'm not really keen on this name for the day or the swing trade, but someone in my friend circle brought up this name. I think I'm just gonna delete the stock from the watch list. I don't care about this one. NVO reports tomorrow pre-market. The stock has been absolutely destroyed, and looks like it's gonna break that most recent range low. So if on earnings report it breaks that range low, the stock could set up for a really good long intraday. So watching how NVO sets up, what is the stock's PE ratio at the moment? So let's go take a look at Finviz. PE ratio for, what's the stock again? NVO. I mean, come on, chat. 10 PE. In the meantime, you have stocks like Palantir and Carvana that are trading 210 times their price to earnings ratio. So NVO, the lower it goes tomorrow off of the earnings reaction, the juicier the trade for the intraday long. But at the same time, you know, on the positive earnings report, if it starts to get above 50, that there could be a trade there for the swing and for the day trade. So keeping an eye on NVO. The upside is 50, the downside level is what again? 46.90, so basically 47. Keeping an eye on this one, high priority. Uber. Uber. We already talked about Uber. Sorry, where are we? Disney was the next one. Disney, pretty good reversal back into the $100 area, right back to the earnings VWAP from last earnings season. So kind of similar to some of the other stocks we just looked at. Either it pushes into 125 on a positive report or higher, or potentially going back into the 200-day moving average on a negative report. So a couple levels to keep an eye out for on Disney here. Dave. Yikes. No volume really on this name. Very, I mean, not no volume, but very light volume, but one of the crazy reversals so far. So just gonna leave Dave on there. I have no opinion on it, mainly because I don't even know what the hell they do. We'll see if they report something important for us tomorrow to take a look at. McDonald's, boy oh boy, just absolute boomer name. Not even a stock worth for the day trading. And for the swing trading, I think you can see that this stock's average daily range is 1.45. So do we care about McDonald's? Not really. Boomer names. Boomer names. But we already have a good watch list already out there for tomorrow. DKNG, let's quickly go through some names for the swing account. DraftKings had a failed breakout, but looks like it's coiling and wants to go back to the upside. So that looks good at the moment. I'm getting a call. Let me just screen that call. DraftKings looked like it's coiling and wants to go back up. What is RIS? Risma? I don't even know what this name is. Hotels, resorts, cruise lines. Risma. Never heard this. Hold up. Caller is replying. Me? Most likely a scam caller. Okay. MCD, not MCD. Where were we? Riz. Yeah, I don't think I really care about Riz. There is no volume on Riz at all. I don't even know who told me about this stock today. LVS. Let's go to LVS. This is Las Vegas Sands. Again, light volume name. But these casino names are actually looking fairly good. I mean, look at that LVS over here. Previous earnings pop. Nice little sideways, recent earnings pop actually. Nice little sideways channel above the previous resistance, and now creating a flag for a potential breakout for a bigger run up right before football season comes into play. Well, we'll see if Macau and all those news catalysts also come out in the right direction for us if we're interested. So DraftKings, LVS, FLUT, these are three names that are really worth watching. FLUT is basically at all-time high. This is FanDuel parent company, and if you look at it on the weekly, looks like a flag forming. If you look at it on the daily, it is a nice little flag on going sideways, bouncing off the 200-day moving average. So all things go for these names, as earnings is also coming closer for them too. So setting an alert for FLUT. Already have DKNG and all those on my watch list. RBRK, SMCI going down, potentially taking RBRK to the downside after hours, sadly. Pushing down today, but still doing fine as long as it doesn't get below 83 for me. So might pick up some more shares if it starts to look healthy in this area. Breakout did happen not too long ago, and that's when I actually started my trade. RBRK, let's take a look at some of the positions I'm in already. Bull not looking too bad, you know, still above these ranges so far. So bull holding off. How's Coupang doing? Are you struggling at the moment? Coupang bounced back above 230. That's exactly why you trail stops the right way. So I put a stop a little bit under earnings VWAP. Didn't get stopped out on this name. Not bad. CCL in the red on this name, if I remember correctly. And still in this name until it gets below the earnings VWAP. So we're gonna hold on to that a little bit longer. Where is Toasty? Toasty the Posty Malone. Ooh, Toasty really pulled back today, but you know, I think I'm basically break even on this name right now, or a little bit in the profit. But once Toasty breaks that $50 area, we're blasting off again. So that's worth watching. Hood, I told you I'm keeping an eye on Hood for potentially a new trade to be started. PL, where is PL these days now that we're out of the stock? Bounce right back above $6 after stopping me out. But still hanging out sideways in this area. We can look to get back a little bit later on. PL is kind of slowing down at the moment. DoorDash breaking out to a new high, but I'm not sure I want to be really in DoorDash at the moment either. UNH, this is the important one. Hopefully UNH making some leaps and bounds tomorrow, pre-market, after hours, and so on, for the next few days, weeks, months, because I mean the stock has been beaten down pretty hard. Not sure what the news catalyst today was, but there was some news catalyst that took UNH and another health insurance company to the upside too. So hopefully this is the bottom for UNH. I was lucky enough to not try and catch the bottom throughout this whole period like a lot of people did. But also, I'm not really trading millions of dollars. So if you're trading millions of dollars, you might have to, you know, span out your buying over weeks and months. That way you get a nice price and nice average. But if you're buying small shares like me, you know, I get to be patient and get lucky. So I got some shares today. Could have gotten at a much better price, but I'm not going to complain. Basically where the stock is closed at, I think my average is a little bit below 249. So I'm a little bit in the money at the moment. Would love to see the stock go back to 300s and much higher than 300s, and I get to progressively progressively expose myself to UNH as it goes higher. Hopefully it goes higher. So far though, UNH has been the sad story on the market. A couple crypto stocks. Coinbase, I already talked about that one. 300 is the important area. However, today's VWAP was like 303 or something. MSTR, pretty weak at the moment. Still above the 200-day moving average, but with Bitcoin moving back to the downside, obviously MSTR is going to sell off. Mara and Riot looking very similar to MSTR. In fact, Riot getting below this 3-day low might open up some downside. Tomorrow would be day 4 of earnings report. Like I mentioned earlier, there isn't no real day 4 trade, so I wouldn't look for that setup. Also, you'd be shorting right into the 200-day moving average, so it'd be a little stupid. Unless Bitcoin was really selling off, I wouldn't look for this trade. At the same time, if Bitcoin is really selling off, why not just go short Coinbase or MicroStrategy, because they are guaranteed to be short, guaranteed to be weak. And you know, given the recent news, given the recent earnings report, more volatility also on that name, just go trade those names, right? It's just simple. But I'll leave this one on the watch list really quickly. My glasses are really dirty. In the meantime, let me try to scroll over to the IPO calendar. Tomorrow is August 6th, so we shouldn't really have any IPOs from my memory. And then August 7th, we should have Firefly Aerospace. So correct, no IPOs tomorrow. We did have some IPO today. Very, very small IPO. Don't care about it at all. But we have some IPOs. Tomorrow, no. We have an IPO 7th, yes. 8th, kinda. Heartflow. 13th, we have an IPO bullish. Okay. Miami International Holdings, another IPO on the 14th, and then an IPO on the 12th. So looks like a pretty exciting month so far. Tomorrow, actually, I'll be gone golfing. So I will not be streaming tomorrow. I just remembered that I will not be able to stream tomorrow. Thankfully, I brought it up right now. Otherwise, you would have, not known until you showed up on stream, sadly. That ends everything. I think econ calendar tomorrow. Let's take a quick little look at that. Economic calendar showing you the 10-year auction note at 1 o'clock, and that's basically all she wrote. Fed member at 12:45. That's a little important, obviously, but the main thing is the 10-year auction note. If I'm forgetting anything, let me know, but if not, it's time for y'all to go and for me to go walk my dog, eat some food, and go vibe code. Trying to remember if I'm forgetting anything. I don't think I am. So I'm gonna go walk my dog, chat. I'll catch you guys Thursday for the final stream of the week. Pow, 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 pow. Good luck. Make some money.
Get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here, back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.